Success loves speed. Make that quick decision. Go do that thing. Get it in momentum so you can't backtrack out of it. Hello. Amira Alvarez here, founder and CEO of The Unstoppable Woman, and welcome to another episode of The Unstoppable Woman podcast. I am super excited you're here, and let's dive in. Okay, so today we are talking about the power question that I asked myself to make things easier. Okay, what do I mean by make things easier? I mean that when you're running a business, sometimes your to-do list is 3 pages long. Sometimes there's a lot on your plate. Sometimes you have mismanaged your schedule and you've got meetings all day and you don't have enough time to get the big thing done and you're freaking out. Or sometimes you're looking at the overall game plan and you're like, I love my game plan. I love my plan, but this seems complicated, or I'm not going to be able to execute that with the other things that are on my plate. And so on and so forth. There can be so many different versions of this, but let's just face it. Running a business has its challenges. There are tons of decisions. There is juggling the different priorities. There is doing the work. If you're in a service-based business, doing the work with your clients. There's, doing the work with your team. All of that. Okay. There's just a lot going on in scaling and growth, and you might love it. There are days, there are months, there are, weeks, years, all that sort of stuff where I am like freaking on fire and I love my business. And then because this is the cycle of growth, you decide, okay, we're going to go do this. And it's on top of what you're already doing, let's say. And that puts a little bit more pressure on you. That's going to cause you to feel some discomfort, because if you were working to your growth edge before and then you add something to the already existing processes, systems, what you have on your plate, you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. I've got too much. And yet the growth that you are looking for, the evolution in your life and your business, it requires for you to do more, to become more, to experience more. And that's going to cause this push-pull in your business where you're like, oh my God, I want this. I've made the decision to go after it. I've claimed it. I'm putting everything in play, but now it's a little bit chaotic, or now it's a little overwhelming. Now I feel like I can't keep up. Whatever version of that rings true for you, that's what I'm talking about. So, or the other scenario where this comes up is you have a great plan, you're not overwhelmed, but you're looking at a situation and you're not seeing an answer. Okay, you're not actually recognizing what the solution is in this particular situation. You're like, if I do this, then that happens, but I don't want that to happen. What's the solution here? And you're a little stuck around that. So here's my power question. And it's super simple. I think you're going to love it in its simplicity. Okay. And don't laugh at this. It's powerful. Okay. My power question is, how do I make this easier? There is always an easier way. How do you make it easier? If you ask a better question, you'll get a better answer. Most of the time you're asking in your head, you're stating again and again, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. Oh my God, I don't know what to do here. Oh my God, there's no good answers. Oh my God, I'm never going to be able to keep up. And that is what you are saying to yourself. So that's what you're going to be seeing. Those are the experiences that you will recognize. This is how our minds work. Okay. This has to do with the reticular activating system. It's a part of your brain that when it's given a directive, it goes hunting, looking for that. Okay. If you are constantly saying, this is so hard, this is so challenging, I don't know what to do, there's no good answer, then you're going to find that. So ask a better question or make a better statement, conditioning in your mind. And I do that by this very, very simple question. This is not complicated, guys. It doesn't have to be complicated. The most elegant solutions are the simplest. Okay. So you ask yourself, how could this be easier? How could I make this easier? And you have to ask it from a place of real curiosity and belief. You can't ask it attached to the hard and the struggle. Okay. You can't ask it if what you want semi-consciously, subconsciously is to be a victim of the struggle, to feel really deeply that you're important because you are so challenged, so burdened, so overworked, so in the struggle. Okay. We call that being addicted to the struggle or addicted to hard. And I have to say, this is something that can really hold you back. And you want to look at this. And part of the way that you can break out of it is by asking yourself this power question. What if it could be easier? What would have to happen? What would I have to do? Who would I have to be? How could I do this differently? What if it was easier? What would it look like? So I gave you a few variations on the same question, but it's basically the same question. How can I make this easier? And inevitably, there is some way to do this. There's a leverage, like I could do this and I could use it in these 5 different marketing ways. I could, right? There's some leverage there that you could take, make, but you're not seeing it because you're stuck in the struggle. So you really have to ask that question from a place of curiosity and real belief that the possibility that it could be so much easier is there, and it's there now. And this is the law of polarity. The law of polarity says everything is created as a whole, and that means there's no halves in the universe. Okay. We created fractions. Okay. There are no halves in the universe. So everything is created as a whole. That means that if something is hard right now, easy is here too, because you cannot have hard without easy. They're created as a whole. Okay. You only know happiness because you also know pain and grief, right? You've had that experience. They are created as a whole. What are you going to look at? Are you going to keep looking at the hard, at the struggle, at the pain, overwhelm, the I don't know what to do? Or are you going to ask yourself a better question, which is, how do I make this easier? And then you start looking at the pole that exists and exists right now, okay, in the same time and space continuum, right? Like right now, easy exists for you. So ask that question. Ask that question. Okay. Then you have to keep asking it. Be persistent around this. Don't stop asking it until the idea drops in for you and it lands. Then you have to trust yourself and act on it. Okay. And act on it quickly. Success loves speed. What happens when you don't act on something quickly? You talk yourself out of it. That just happened for me. In the shower yesterday morning, I was thinking, maybe it was 2 days ago. Time flies when you're having fun. But I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great to invite the neighbors over for some drinks for the holidays? Because I just moved into a new house and I haven't really gotten to know my neighbors. And I was like, well, I could invite each of the 2 neighbors that I've sort of had a little bit of interaction with over separately. And wouldn't that be nice? What if I did it together? Oh, that's great. And then it became a party for the whole neighborhood. Okay. And then I was like, I got to tell Ashley to set this up and let's pick a date and go do this. And Ashley's my assistant and she's fabulous. And I didn't do that. I got on to the next thing. And then I was like, oh, that seems like so much effort. And, I talked myself out of it. I lost the momentum. I lost the thread. Okay. And if I really want to do this, I got to go back to that idea and ask myself this power question. Well, how can I make this easier? What would be so easy for me? Just pick a date, send a group text to the neighborhood and see who shows up, right? Like, let's not overcomplicate this. Buy a few things at the store, set them out, maybe even hire like a caterer and like go to town, but it doesn't have to be complicated. So here I am walking my talk. Look at that. I didn't act on that quickly. I acted on a lot of other things quickly that day in the last couple of days, but I didn't act on that. And I lost the thread of it. I lost the momentum. So when you get the idea of how to make it easier, success loves speed, make that quick decision, go do that thing, get it in momentum so you can't, backtrack out of it. Okay. The next thing that I want to give to you here is, for whom would this thing that you're doing that is complicated for you, that you're having a struggle with or you're stuck on, for whom would that be easy, a no-brainer? She would have it dialed in. She would already know what to do. Think about that person. How would she approach this? Okay. And don't get into the story about, well, she would have like 1,000 people on her team, or she would just do this thing that I couldn't possibly do. No, there's some perspective that she has, some way of being in the world that she has, some kind of decision that she makes. Go think about how she would make it easier and then go model that. It's such an amazing way to change your approach and get great ideas. It's a way of using your imagination and using the law of vibration as well. Okay, another real simple thing that you can do with this power question is ask it before you go to sleep. Okay, this is one of the things that I love to do with many things. I ask myself, okay, well, what do they need in the intensive, or what do they need at the summit, or what am I going to teach at the Spirit of Wealth retreat, or what kind of podcast do I want to do today? Or I ask the question for which I need an answer at night before I go to sleep. And you can do this with the power question as well. Okay. You can ask yourself, for whatever you're stuck with, how can I make this easy? And you'll get a solution. You'll wake up with a solution, because your subconscious mind takes over when you go to sleep, and it's processing everything, and it's putting ideas together. This is why you have crazy dreams, right? So ask yourself, and here I'm using the example of asking yourself how you could make it easier right before you go to sleep. But just bonus tip there, you can ask this for whatever you need help with. And that's what I was giving you examples of just a moment ago, right? Like, I use this for all the things, and I love it. I get great ideas. I wake up and it comes to me and I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing that. That sounds good. Let's go. So that's my tip for you today, my way of getting out of the struggle. Sometimes it just requires asking a better question. And I hope you use this. I'd love to hear what comes to you when you do use it, how effective it's been for you, and what you use it for. Okay. Rock it out, be unstoppable, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care. Bye. Hey, thanks so much for joining us and being part of the Unstoppable Woman movement. We have got a ton of free resources for scaling your business at theunstoppablewoman.com/free stuff. And you can find that link in the description below. So go ahead and check those out. And we'd also love your help in getting our message out to more and more women. If you'd be willing to share this video with all the unstoppable women in your life, that would be fantastic. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Reviews, likes, and comments are greatly appreciated. We go in and read them all. So thank you for those. And thanks for listening, and be unstoppable.